Hi guys, I'm a talking head today. That's new. Yes, I look like Steve Buscemi. How unfortunate. Anyway, I thought I'd try some videos where I do some vegan confessions because I think there are some interesting videos on YouTube that do similar things and I wish there were more. It's really nice to listen to people talk about things that are kind of personal. So I'll give it a shot. Today I want to talk about being a preachy vegan because a lot of people might think I'm one of those. I'm not in person necessarily. I'm a normal, friendly guy who doesn't push any sort of agenda on his friends and family when he's hanging around them. I'm just chill and I don't eat animals and I might steer us toward not eating animals if we're going to go to a restaurant, but I'm not going to make a big fit if things don't go perfectly my way. But I am sort of vocal online, and I have a reason for that. That's one of the only arenas in which I feel like I can be very honest with how I feel about everything in the world, and not be a criminal or not be imposing it on somebody else. If somebody doesn't want to hear my views on something, they can just ignore me very easily, much more easily than they could in person. So I've taken it upon myself to stand up very, very firmly for what I believe in on Facebook, I guess on YouTube, other platforms that I don't use, but maybe I'll use them later. I don't know. But some people might say, well, why? Well, for example, I've become very emotionally involved in this subject. So on a pretty regular basis, almost daily now, I try not to do it daily, but almost on a daily basis, I post something vegan related or compassion related or animal related to some degree on Facebook. And normally nobody interacts with it, no likes or dislikes or comments of any kind really, and I've come to accept that because I feel like most people just either they are reading it and they don't want to engage with it because it makes them feel uncomfortable, or they just don't want to see that content so they don't pay attention to it. Either way, I've decided to continue doing it so that somebody always has the option of seeing it or engaging with it, even if it's disappointing when nobody does to me. I'll take that hit personally, but I'm going to keep doing it just so that there's that chance somebody might look at it. But some other people might wonder, why don't you just be quiet and mind your own business and not post about such serious things on such a lighthearted platform such as Facebook? And I've thought about this a lot, and I have friends and family who are much more passive in their views and their approaches to things. Like I have two brothers, for instance, who are also vegan. Thank God, otherwise I'd be insane. And they aren't quite as vocal about it as I am, not nearly. They don't wear it on their sleeves day in, day out, as I have come to. And I can understand why, and I've learned to live with the fact that they do, although I don't always agree with it. I have a different approach. One of the main differences between our approaches is that I've taken to refusing going to gatherings where we will be consuming animals. Because, for one, I want to take a firm stance in that I do not want to partake in that action. I think it is unethical. And although I could do some good by being there in the moment and trying to strike up conversation, I've never found that to be I've never been comfortable taking that step. Perhaps that's my failing. But I feel like, personally, I make a stronger statement by overtly not attending those occasions. And so making maybe a silent statement. And also, it keeps me mentally grounded because I found myself in the situations where I have to witness my friends and family, people who I know are wonderful people, very ethical. When I have to witness them making those choices and doing those actions, I find it difficult not to dislike them very severely in the moment. And I don't want to have those hateful thoughts about those people that I know are actually good people despite what they're doing right then and there. My two brothers, on the other hand, have chosen to go along with those occasions and sit at those tables. They don't consume the animals, of course, but they don't raise any fuss. They just play it very cool, very passive. And I've come to accept that, and so we don't see each other all the time at these occasions, but I try to make it anyway after everything is said and done. You know, I try to arrive after dinner, or I try to show up and then leave before dinner or lunch or whatever meal is happening. And I feel like their approach, it's very possible, it's more effective. It's very possible they will actually change more people's minds by being passive and very under the radar, and the idea of not being vocal and alarming, but trying to get people to quietly and slowly become curious about it, about veganism, about animal rights, about non-cruelty to animals, everything. Perhaps that is, at the end of the day, more effective. I hope it's not, because I feel like that would make me very sad about the state of humanity if that were the case. But perhaps it is. The reason why I'm vocal about things and I don't try to let people slowly become curious about non-cruelty, it's an odd thing to say out loud, to try to have people slowly become curious about not being cruel. To me, that sounds absurd. It's just like any other social justice movement. With slavery, we didn't abolish slavery by getting people to slowly become curious about living a slave-free lifestyle. We were very loud and very vocal about it being wrong and us needing to change it. In fact, we had a war over it. And now we have no more slavery, at least in the United States. With women's rights, we didn't slowly allow people to become curious about allowing women to have equal rights. We stood our ground, and we were loud, and we stirred things up, and eventually we got things done and changed it for the better. And same for gay rights. Being passive didn't get us anywhere. We've learned to stand up for what we believe in, and when enough people that believe in it choose to stand up instead of sitting down quietly and politely, but actually getting up in arms about what they believe in and taking a stand, even if it knocks them down a peg or two socially with their friends and family, if they believe the cause is worth it, then of course they should stand up and say something, because our integrity, our principles, at least for me, they come before my relationships. So I feel like this is just another social justice issue where we can't allow politeness to get in the way of actually making change. We need to stand up, we need to do something, and that's why I'm not silent, at least on Facebook and other social media. I've chosen to stand up and say, hey, this is wrong. I'm proud to say that it's wrong. If you think I'm preaching at you, then maybe you need a preacher. Maybe this is your Sunday school, and maybe you should take a lesson away from it. I know maybe not everyone likes that approach, and I understand why. I'm telling people, hey, I think you're doing something morally corrupt. When I post those messages, that is what I'm saying. And so they're accurate to take offense at that, because it's offensive. I'm saying that they are doing morally corrupt actions. And if somebody told me that, I would take offense too. But I hope that I would pause, later on at least, and think about whether they're right. And I hope I'm right about others when I say that to them, about, hey, maybe we shouldn't abuse animals or submit them to unnecessary cruelty and suffering. So, that's why I take a stand. Because I believe it's more effective. I believe if you're a principled person, you have to stand up for what you believe in. And that is more important than, although it might be unfortunate to say, it's more important than keeping that one friend around who is completely against everything you stand for, or not stepping on toes. I'm sorry, this is more important than not stepping on toes. We're talking about animal cruelty in the billions across the world every second of every day. And if that can't take precedent over our social politeness and comfort, I don't know what can. So yes, I will be vocal, I will be loud, and I will be preachy, I suppose. I hope others will too. But regardless, thank you for watching. If you are a friend or a family member, I hope this doesn't offend you. I hope maybe it provokes thoughts. Good thoughts, deep thoughts, hopefully not angry thoughts. But yeah. I'm a talking head today. Hopefully this went well. Maybe I'll do more.